How's it going with the Jets? Fucking Tim Tebow ran 20 yards. He's a retarded quarterback. Alright, comic panel, my bad.
Actually, we can have a little joke about that, which will only take a minute before we do introduction. Does anyone know what T-bowing is?
Yeah, no, we got that, right? That's tropical.
Alright, fine.
We're moving sports on a comic panel. Not a stereotype, but...
Alright. We're gonna stop being wannabe jocks and be professional. And be professional nerdbags. Just like we really are.
So much natty. Alright.
Welcome in. Alright.
Hello. So,
welcome to a panel about comic books that I do not know the name of.
It's well, they changed the name.
It's Graphic Images Comic Book Panel.
I wanted Flashpoint itself because it was a clever fear itself Flashpoint parody, but
yeah.
What's that mean?
But
like,
the point is that Flashpoint's not clever. At points it is though.
Both are actually really terrible to think about it.
Yeah.
Anywho, my name's Chris. I write for BleedingCool.com. I've been reading comics for about 25 years, and I'm a nerd. So that's why I'm at the panel. Hi, come in.
Hi, Chris. My name is Ray. I'm not a blogger of any sort. I'm just very opinionated. How are you all doing today?
The funny thing is, to be a blogger, you have to be opinionated. I feel like they go hand in hand.
Then why don't you just? I can update some blogs.
Because I get paid for that. Why?
You need money.
I need money.
I'll talk.
Actually, yeah.
Anywho, this is slowly go from the comic book to regular show panel.
Alright.
But we lost somebody already. That's a wreck for us.
Whatever. Alright, so
check.
yeah, my history with comics. I'm 28 years old. I actually started reading comics back when I was in 5th grade, when someone got me interested. So I'm pretty much, for the most part, I'm a 90s kid of Marvel, for the most part. After a while though, when my local comic shops fell through, like in the early 2000s, I started to lose trace. And then recently, since I've been going to the city a lot more and I've had access, I've just actually started to get back into it earlier this year. So with things that have happened for the last 10 years, I'm slowly finding out, but I was mainly a Marvel kid. Mainly I was interested in New Mutants back in the day, as well as other X-Men reads. I'm getting back into X-Men, as well as I'm reading some of the new DC books. I actually was reading Green Lantern before I got back into Marvel again recently. Some of my favorite characters, which actually caused me to get back into it because they were starting to make reappearances, are Carnage. Exodus has not made a reappearance.
Was it like 2 years ago?
Yeah, I know.
He's coming back next arc with Regenesis.
Oh, he is?
I think we're that, yeah.
Okay. Nate Gray, because my favorite story arc of all time to this day is still the Age of Apocalypse saga. So I was a big Nate Gray fan when he first got introduced, and now that he's coming back, I've definitely gotten back into Marvel in a big way. And since they're also bringing back a lot of Age of Apocalypse bases, pretty much, coming back in. And also, Magneto.
How's that?
You guys set for tech?
There's no tech, really.
You can give us a free iPod or something.
Yeah.
We didn't do like 5 free iPads.
If you give me $300, I can hook you up with a free iPod.
How about a MacBook?
No, we're good.
Not even an iPad 1?
Screw it.
Alright,
Alright, yeah, so, let's get this started. So, show of hands are all reading comics, right?
I hope so.
Excellent. Now, let's say...
No introduction?
Hi, we'll talk about it. You guys are going to let's talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, the biggest problem with comics these days, DC is doing a really good job of making stuff accessible again. They rebooted their entire line, which they dropped about 75 years of continuity for, like, hey, it's a fresh new start. All you need to know is Batman, his parents are dead. Superman, his parents are dead. Green Lantern, his parents are... Comics are depressing shit. Dead parents, superpowers, go. Superman, last on Krypton, etc., etc. They're basically year running everything, which is a good, people want to get into comics. My wife's now reading Hawk and Dove, which she had no interest in prior to 2 years ago. And I was like, this is cute because she's like a girl dove, and he's a boy. This is really funny. I'm like, all right, cool.
And Rob Liefeld's drawing.
I go top. Rob Liefeld's a love-hate. I mean, the guy cannot draw shit. But he co-created Deadpool, and I drew Deadpool. And he's drawing my wife's favorite book, so I can't really hate on him that much. And he's actually a generally nice guy. You mentioned he has a lot of energy. He's generally pleasant to talk to. It's just he can't draw for you. His heads are like 8 the size it's supposed to be in their body. it's a great time. Like, people finally realizing, hey, we should go digital because people aren't going to go to a comic shop. Because, I live in New York. I have like 20 shops per block. But like Idaho and Nebraska, they have like a one shop, 5 miles.
Long Island.
Yeah, 5 miles a state away. So it's kind of a drive. However, you sign on, you go to iTunes or Comixology every Wednesday morning. All the books are there now. Marvel's slowly going full digital. I think by April, if you go fully digital, it's really good. You know, if you're on an iPad or you do Amazon Kindle, something like that, you don't have to worry about going to the shop or it selling out or variant coming on. So you just go download it, and there you go. I mean, I don't think you should pay $4 for a friggin' digital file, but hopefully they realize what it's a bad idea. Considering for $8, I bought down Charles Gambino yesterday off iTunes. That's a 40-minute album. It takes me like 5 minutes at best. 3 is my Jeff load. So yeah, we're in a good time now. The question is what to read, what not to read. DC-wise, who's reading Batman? It's not a book.
I read the first issue. I didn't get a chance to read the second.
It's worth it. Like, it's a fantastic book. If you want, people, as far as I know, people read comics, they're all Batman because he's goddamn Batman. He's super relatable. Parents are dead. He has no power. He's just a rich guy with a lot of money, a lot of free time on his hands. And Scott Snyder came out of nowhere. He started writing his book called American Vampires, Vertigo. It's basically, I hate to use the terminology, anti-Twilight. It's where the vampires, once again, like not European Euro trash, not sparkling teenagers. They're dirty, they're grungy. It's how basically they existed Wild West times up to the 1930s America. It's a period piece, and it works out really well because it's a nice spin on kind of the dying genre. Vampires are very rare, and we're all tired. The Twilights or the romantic novels, or vampires, which are just as bad. Demons withstanding.
2 Justice books, Justice League.
3, thank you very much.
Well, no, I'm talking about Justice League and Justice League International.
And Justice League Dark.
Oh yeah, Justice League Dark. That's right. Which you read. I actually don't.
It's cool.
I'm not saying it's not cool.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I pretty much work down like almost $40 a week in comic books. I kind of want to trim it down.
It's Jim Lee drawing the Justice League, which is Jim Lee's one of the best artists working today. He's a living legend. If you know X-Men, you know his hand because he's the one who designed all the 90s cartoon costumes. He's probably the definitive Wolverine artist of all time. The dude that drew got as many issues. Did Wildcats, which I think maybe people actually remember now. Wildcats, anyone? That a cartoon? Image?
Remember Thundercats?
Yeah, you haven't seen much, I assure you. Aside from like some really good stuff that he was going to work on, and he did Hush, which was like one of the most best-selling Batman stories. Those I can argue is quality-wise.
Should we not talk about All-Star Batman and Robin?
We'll talk about Frank Miller later because man.
But I bring up this Jim Lee drew that.
Oh, it was fantastic. What time happened? Was it 7 issues and then it fell face the planet?
I think it's 10. You're making it 10.
Did it really? I dropped after Batman nailed Black Canary on my deck. I'm like, I'm not prudish on saying this kind of.
Don't
I felt
even.
dirty reading it. I mean, it looked good, but it's not coming to
It's
that.
Frank Miller.
It was pretty, and Frank Miller wrote it. The end.
But he did Batman Year One, which was really good. And Dark Knight Returns was really good. And Sin City
25 years ago, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm old. Shit. But he did. Yeah.
By the way, since Chris brought it up so eloquently, does anyone have a problem with cursing?
I imagine not.
There we go. Okay,
Yellow or
good.
something.
So,
It kind of goes hand in hand.
Probably. Or it's red.
so Justice League, the regular Justice League, not international. I was not a big Superman fan up until with the reboot and with that issue, only because I don't like Hal Jordan's ego all that much.
Or Hal Jordan in general.
Yeah.
No one likes Hal Jordan, I feel like.
I like Jon Stewart.
I like Kyle. I feel like people like are forced to like Hal Jordan now because look, he's a movie now with Ron Reynolds. People love this, and it was terrible, and it bombed as well.
No, people are forced to because.
Well, I feel like Jon Stewart was what the Justice League cartoon for at least what it was like 6-7 years over that on TV.
About
Justice League and Justice League.
Yeah, so in theory, he should be the biggest Green Lantern out there. In fact, kids know him as face of the cartoon. Also, when they dropped Ron Reynolds as Green Lantern, I swear I was in the theater. Something like that was hell. I thought Green Lantern was a black guy. And he's not wrong, because again, the media, Peter Wise, Jon Stewart, for 8 years, that cartoon was amazing.
I think, honestly,
Great ratings, so people
the
know
cartoon was great. I hated the way it ended, really, because it's just like, it ended up on the biggest cliffhanger ever. Like, you saw Superman just like, almost like it was like Goku fully charged up. He just all of a sudden just ripped open and just started busting ass all over the city. And then that happens, like, well, we'll be around. And then you see everyone running downstairs. I'm like, this is like a superpowered Rocky film.
I know, and the previous season ended with that epilogue in the Batman Beyond universe. That
Yeah.
was
Right.
Well, originally that was just the end of the series. It was the end with that, and then like, no, we'll do more season. Like, sure, we're gonna do Darkseid.
Oh.
Go.
Oh, speaking of Batman Beyond with that series, it was great. We had a conversation with a friend of ours. He didn't know who Static Shock was at all, but he's been reading DC Comics longer than both of us, and he's even watched Justice League and Justice League International, and he totally missed the episode apparently with, as well as the series that Static Shock had. Huh?
Stack's been over.
Yeah, Stack's been over for a while,
He had a
but
5-year run on TV.
he had a
knew what it was.
He had a long run on TV. People knew
Obscure thing like Looney Tunes Dark, whatever that shit was back in like mid 2000, where they decided Looney Tunes needed to be edgy and anime.
and like they had
Thank you. Okay.
And they had an episode where they time traveled into the future, and there was, Static as an older man with, what's his name? Terry McGinnis as, Batman at that time, and he totally didn't notice that was Static Shock. And he like totally dropped the ball on that because he thought that this guy was just not relevant. I'm like, no, he's pretty much been around for a very long time.
Yeah, Static was a product with a really cool time at DC back in the 90s, where they got a bunch of talented writers to basically make a more diverse DC universe. Well, it was self-contained, but it was still branched in DC, where you had Static and a bunch of characters who don't exist anymore. Well, actually, there's a few of them still running around in the new Turning book and Static Shock.
Yeah.
People are white, Latino, and Asian backgrounds instead of white dude with something blonde hair with Hispanics again. And it was well written stuff, really good stuff. But the truth told, no one buys any books. So they'd rather read Batman, Dark Knight, Tales, Legends of 600 versus Static Shock or whatever was running in the 90s. And I think DC managed to republish all two of them, which is unfortunate. Again, great books that no one read because they weren't marketed well or at all, and they weren't tied to Blackest Night or crossover 25.
also all the superhumans in the Static Shock universe are called Bang Babies.
Yeah.
That's just uncomfortable to say.
It was just really weird also. Like,
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah, because what happened was it was
The
some
cartoon
sort
or the book?
the cartoon.
Oh, yeah, I never watched the cartoon.
In the cartoon. Like in the cartoon there was supposedly some big old explosion or
Yeah.
whatever, and it transformed a lot of people into having these powers.
Bang
including-
Babies, that's the... Think about that? I got kids that?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm surprised. Like, cause they recolored the stains of Dragon Balls. They wouldn't be offensive, but the Bang Babies was cool.
The show essentially came out, I guess, at a time where we weren't really trying to pick up on humorous little things like that.
Yeah. That or I think Adult Swim was just starting up as Static Shock was airing, so we kind of knew what Adult Swim was because it was told us by a talking milkshake.
It was just so pleasing to read and watch Hal Jordan try to boss Batman around. And then literally have the goal to just say, I'm just going to walk in there and drag Superman out, which I don't think anybody has said without getting their face smashed into some sort of hard-like surface. It was so pleasing just to watch Hal Jordan get punched through 3 city blocks. I was so happy.
Yeah, I'm really glad that the post-movie Superman now. Like, he's more aggressive. He's definitely, back in
Action comics, he's not invincible.
Oh yeah, he's a lot of socialist roots, which I know we're not supposed to say socialist because kind of it's all really bad. But it's a great read, both action and Superman, because he's kind of a dick now, which I think helps humanize the character. Like, you don't want the Boy Scout, you can't do Boy Scout well unless you're Grant Morrison. Ultimate Superman's great, he's a super morale guy. I feel like only 3 writers can pull that off, and none of them are working on DC.
And bizarrely enough, Garth Ennis does Boy Scout Superman somewhat well too.
Yeah, but Garth Ennis isn't from DC anytime soon because he hates the company after The Boys, which we'll get into later. And then I would say, yeah, and then Bendis would probably do Amazing Superman, we talk forever, but yeah, so that's the one. DC's rebooting. It's great. There's 52 different books. Some of them are terrible, like Red Hood and the Outlaws. We're gonna argue that. All right, back and
Well,
forth.
Red Hood and the Outlaws looks like it's going to improve very, very slowly. But no. When I first saw Red Hood and the Outlaws, I thought it was going to be about 2 things. I thought it was going to be about tits, and then I thought it was also going to be about kicking a lot of ass.
You weren't wrong though.
I wasn't wrong. The unfortunate thing was I got one thing first, and then I got the other thing later.
Yeah, I mean,
And I got it kind of distastefully.
Yeah, like they want to make Starfire badass, which cool. She's like a hit stage. I know she's super popular because of the whole Teen Titans cartoon. It's a good show, but DC comic-wise, the biggest thing she's known for the last 5 years was getting Al and then cheating on his wife, which I feel like isn't the best thing we know for her as like a female lead.
God,
now they're like, oh, now she's like a crazy sex nymph alien princess. I'm like, oh, well, that's an interesting direction.
I was just like, all right, let's start with some ass beating and sex everywhere. Unfortunately, all I got was sex. I'm like, this is a start. A lot of people are going to be very upset about this. Sure enough, the next day, my smartphone is blowing up with everyone complaining about this. I'm sitting here like, well, for starters, I should have expected this, but at the same time, I probably should have expected a lot more guns and kicks to the face.
Speaking of Animal Man, though, that book is really good. DC decided, let's make a horror superhero book. And they got some indie dude, Jeff Lemire, who's an amazing writer. And it's basically Silent Hill meets Pet Sematary meets your average Hispanics dude. And it's creepy-ass visuals, like issue 1 ends with his daughter raising a bunch of dead pets from the grave. So you have a bird missing out, arm flapping around, a dog skeleton. It's disgusting visuals. Like, it's a weird issue, they're floating around in the green, which is basically the giant Earth's life force. And Animal Man's corpse there, he's even like, he turns into a giant amoeba and his teeth on the outside. It's some disgusting visuals, but it's so good. Swamp Thing's the sister book, and we all know Swamp Thing, right? Big green dude runs around, had a few terrible live action movies and a USA Network television show back in the early 90s. Good book. Scott Snyder's writing that, old Batman, a great writer. Just League Dark, if you really get a boner for all the Vertigo characters like Santana and John Constantine. It's a little slow, but it's good. I like it a whole bunch. Superboy is a ton of fun, which I'm really surprised that book being good because it's by Scott Lobel, who's also writing Red Hood and Teen Titans, which are kind of. Yeah, Superboy's a really cool like fourth world meets 90s Wildstorm stuff. So it's a lot of cool characters. Like its big reveal is his caretaker was Caitlin Fairchild from Gender Team. If anyone remembers Gender Team, I don't know if you guys know that.
Barely.
Yeah.
I remember.
Everyone knows J. Scott Campbell. No one knows
when Chris Claremont took over and killed the entire cast to put his own new characters in.
That was wrong, but yeah, that and Deathstroke's daughter's in the book now. It's kind of funny how that's going to play out. But yeah, DC's been solid. And Marvel, man, Marvel, we got our words.
All right. Well, before we get on to Marvel, does anyone want to talk about the New 52? Or anything DC related?
Let's talk with Cat first before Drew gets in there.
I haven't gotten a chance to really pick up more than just the first issue, but I did read the first of the New 52 of Blue Beetle, and I have to say, it's really refreshing to see a hero that doesn't have a traumatic past.
Yeah.
His parents are alive, they love him, he has friends, he lives a normal life, he just has an alien growing out of his spine.
Oh,
That's
technically it's the same as Static. His parents
It's
are
like,
alive.
and I'm like, that's so strange.
Alive now.
Oh.
No, you're right.
That's right. In the comic Static's mother was alive, but she was wheelchair bound.
Yeah.
Yeah, like his parents are alive, he's having a normal childhood, he's trying to convince his dad that he should own a car.
I'm just glad Blue Beetle's back, because the original book, that part of the book was super good, and it was one of those books that, like 10 people read per month, and it got canned. It had great art, great writer.
And I think I know why Blue Beetle's so good on his pads, because you can't have Blue Beetle without Booster Gold.
Yeah.
They're complementary, and and with the whole thing with the second Blue Beetle, I figure Booster Gold's probably gonna have enough angst to go around that we don't really need Jamie Reyes to be angsty when we have Booster Gold.
Well, I'm really curious what's going on post reboot now. Who's alive, who's dead? Because both Adams are now alive, Ray Palmer and Ryan Chow. Let's face, Maxwell Lord hasn't gotten Batch of Beatles yet. He's actually on it. He's in Almac now, which is again, it's a really weird book. But if you could read a trade, read it. So tend to be alive.
That would be great.
Because all the Crisis stuff was retcon. Like Infinite Crisis never happened, Final Crisis never happened, and the original Crisis never happened. So
And Countdown never happened?
in theory, yeah.
Hooray.
So
I was just curious about something with Flashpoint. I only heard two things about Flashpoint.
it was real bad.
Oh, I know, but these two things sound really awesome about it. Like Aquaman was just like a dude that didn't give a damn about anything.
Aquaman
apparently just went around just not even talking, just went around just stabbing people all the time. He just didn't really care. He was like Aquaman but without the moral standing, so he just went around just if anyone messed with him, he just
they turned him into boring Namor. That's all he was. Oh wow, he's murdering Namor.
I know, but it sounds like a cool concept. Then in Batman, it was instead of his parents dying, Bruce actually got shot, and his parents became Batman. His dad became Batman. I tell you about his wife became the Joker.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It was a British miniseries. It is super dark and
It is.
depressing.
It is really dark.
I think it looks
and
But
it
it is
sounds all
super good
great.
though.
And then at the same time, Flashpoint sucks. I'm just like,
Did Batman become Robin?
The Batman's dead.
Oh.
that man is dead.
Oh.
Oh, Bruce
was
Wayne.
dead. Yeah, Bruce was dead.
Bruce was the one that got shot in
Thomas
seven
Wayne was
seconds.
Batman. Dick Grayson was still Zergus' parents still alive. But yeah, again,
And
okay. I was like, are we trying to dance off? What's going on? Yeah, no, again, go back to Blue Beetle. It's good to see Jamie, getting a new book now. I mean, I'm not crazy about the writer, but the visuals are nice. And I'm curious as to how it's going to tie into with the whole JLI Ted Cord thing. If Ted's dead, if he's alive now.
I also like the Spanglish. That was also a nice touch. Half
yeah.
the book was in Spanish.
Yeah, it was cool. You were Tiny Titans?
Huh?
Tiny Titans is like DC's kid book. It's basically a bunch of little Teen Titans running around. It's super cute. In one issue, they decided to do an all Spanish issue. So it's Jamie and Minos and Manos, I think they're,
Aww.
and a bunch of little Latin American kids running around. It's all Spanish. The funniest thing in the world. Tiny Titans is a book I'll talk about in an hour too because it's the cutest thing ever. Go Tom again.
Flashpoint was made so that Brightest Day would be the worst saga alive.
Yeah, Flashpoint. I don't want to talk about that. I hated Flashpoint. It was like
I hated Flashpoint.
I hate Barry Allen. I hated Flashpoint. I hated Jim John. So it's just like, oh man, why? That's why. We wasted a Herbert on that. We could have had him throw something better. Let's talk Marvel now, which is
All right,
depressing.
yeah. All right.
Marvel baffles me because for the longest time I could not read X-Men. Like I love Grant Morrison's run. It is like my definitive run, and Josh Whedon's run was good. Like I'm not crazy about it, but it was a good run. And then the main books were just unreadable. It was just like, oh, now they're fighting killer bacteria in the basement, and Zorn was Magneto, but no, that he was actually someone else. We're just gonna retcon everything Grant Morrison wrote. So in fact, they just brought everything back. I'm like, no, we're done. Sorry, guys. And now they got Matt Fraction, who was he's a good writer. He's writing X-Men. He wrote Fear Itself, which I'm not gonna hold against him. He also writes Casanova, which is an indie book you all need to read. It's basically Archer on acid, where it's not as much sex, it's just crazy concepts, and it's all ties to music somehow. If you read it, it's like, oh, it's actually referring to this band, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's super meta, and I don't want to do the research, but good for you guys. But yeah, he's writing, he led to Keith Gilligan. He's a British dude who got his start writing British video game reviews, and he dropped Phonograms, which is an incredible 5-issue image miniseries which had a sequel drop last year. And it's basically magic folk music. And it tells the tale of this one dude who's basically the living embodiment of British pop in the 90s. He's got to deal with being irrelevant now, which is a really cool thing. So he's now writing a Kenny X-Men.
His superior name is Shoegaze.
So I've read X-Men, which is really good because he's so basically, as Race once said, Cyclops and Wolverine got a divorce. Wolverine went to the east with the kids. He got the mansion. Where Scott's stuck in the island now.
You got the mansion and the Blackbird.
Yeah. And Scott's stuck on in California with the Brotherhood essentially. And it's cool because it's basically it's not so much Civil War. It's like Captain America and Iron Man being poorly written for 6 issues, but it's more like a physiological debate. Whereas there's 198 units left. Or it's like, oh, these kids got to be raised up right, have a childhood. They gotta be allowed to be kids. It's Cyclops don't have that luxury anymore. We're wanted, Sentinels are coming back. The fucking island getting bombarded every other week by whatever. We have to reality check, and so they split up. It's basically all the old school X-Men who are still alive, which is 2 now. Okay.
Beast is alive.
Iceman.
Archangel is undecided because we're still waiting for Dark Angel Saga to finish.
That's on Kenny Export. We're going to talk about it. It's fantastic.
I understand, but we still don't know technically what happens with
Archangel may not be amongst the living by the end of the year. Cannonball, Rogue, Gambit.
Cannonball isn't part of the original.
Oh, no, but he's with Bobcat now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it's gonna be the more lighthearted, silly stuff where they're bringing like aliens to hang out with the X-Men, like the Brood running around there, Gladiators, Kate or something's running around there.
He has a kid now.
Yeah, why not? Sure.
Yeah.
Well, he's a Gladiator. I don't mind that. He had Chrissy Mohawk forever, so it's cool. He's Blue Superman, which I dig. And then meanwhile, on the west, you got Cyclops, Storm, and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants running around. Oh, and Juggernaut, Colossus, which I think is so bizarre. It's awesome.
Juggerlossus.
I love comics just being so like
Colossonaut.
Yeah. It's like let's give Colossus Juggernaut's powers. Why? Because that sounds cool. All right.
Colossus can't get a break ever.
Yeah.
He got a break for a little bit until Shadowcat dumped him.
For 2 issues.
Ugh.
I feel like though, like the X-Men needed a whooping boy. He can't be Nightcrawler anymore because he's dead.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Nightcrawler's dead.
Nightcrawler?
Yeah, he's dead, dude.
Well, he's
No,
He's
I-
coming back.
Nightcrawler is not. He's not. It's the Age of Apocalypse.
It's
Nightcrawler.
Age of Apocalypse. Nightcrawler is essentially going to come into X-Force in some way.
Because let's have a murdered Nightcrawler running around. Yes, we should have a murdered Nightcrawler around.
Yeah,
Awesome.
you know what? Since we're on that, let's just already talk about Uncanny X-Force.
All right, yeah, watch.
Yeah. Anyone
yeah.
reading The Dark Age? Yo.
I'm not reading the Uncanny X-Force.
Well,
But what are the odds that Ryan Reynolds is going to be in the next X-Men movie? Because that was awesome.
probably never because friggin'
If they
he's
feel-
like I'll be Green Lantern now. It's a
If
good idea. I'm Green Lantern. I'm like,
If
all
they
right,
feel like
I'll
taking
be
a
there.
grab on the franchise, I'd say very unlikely.
Well, no, they already announced they're doing First Class too,
I understand.
which I'm cool with that because First Class 1 was really good.
Are they going to stick with the continuity on First Class? For once, please?
They have continuity in X-Men movies. That's cute.
Wait.
And
In the Regenesis panel at New York Comic Con, there had a big old Q&A, and our friend Zace was the very
let's
last
say that for
person-
later. About
All right,
that.
all right.
As far as I know, yes, it's gonna be a direct sequel to First Class 1. I believe they're gonna bring in Storm. Supposedly Shadow King's the big villain this time around.
All right.
Kind of cool. I'm not sure if it's official. That's the buzz on the internets. It's to be Shadow King and Magneto being a dick in the 70s, which I'm excited for because Magneto was the best thing in that movie, in my opinion. You guys can argue that. I really enjoyed
Yeah.
Magneto.
I
He's
wanted-
awesome Nazi killer in that movie.
I wanted 2 hours of Magneto Nazi killer. I really wanted 2 hours of just that.
Inglorious Men.
I'll take 2 hours.
I wanted to see Jason Statham with magnetism powers just kill everyone. That's what I wanted.
Thank you. Let's give it this guy who knows stupid tongue like, oh, Eric, there's not so there, Eric.
Like,
Magneto should have his own movie, but
No, well,
nice.
that's one thing. First Class was supposed to be Magneto the movie, and then you realize, you know what, maybe just having him killing Nazis for 2 hours would be a bad idea. No, it's an awesome idea, but
man, because
I guess Hollywood-wise, like,
I mean, I need something to brighten me up because I recently read like Magneto Testament.
I love it.
Read that?
I love it.
tell me this first.
All right, Magneto Testament is essentially Magneto's story actually growing up in Nazi Germany and working in the concentration camps, just trying to essentially stay alive. It is the most depressing thing. Originally, it was made because an artist that was held under Nazi captivity essentially drew paintings for, like the children in the concentration camps to try to at least brighten them up, even though with everything that's happening. But it was like an artist, art gallery in Austria, got the paintings. Yeah, it was Austria, and they wouldn't give them back to the person that drew them. So they essentially made that entire trade up in order to essentially bring attention to this aspect and essentially like the hardships that they went through, and it was freaking brutal. Like because I had a lot of free time at my job, I read it at my job. But I was just like mega depressed after I read it. Like it's just so freaking brutal.
But the fact that you could relate to it so much is a testament to its writing, though.
Yeah,
It was fantastic.
The writing on it was very well done, and even while they were writing it, they had like so many like things that they wanted to try to. They tried to keep everything as straight as possible. Like even with his number on his arm, like like they paid attention to a lot of detail on it. Just be prepared, you're going to be upset, but I highly recommend picking that up.
Yeah, it is super depressing, but super.
It is really good.
Yeah, I think you
Yes.
probably download off of Comcast for like maybe like $2 an issue, for like $6 for digital trade. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it's like 15 in the stores. X-Force.
Yeah, but back to Uncanny
X-Force. Yeah. So basically, the whole premise of X-Force is it's X-Men Black Ops. There was X-Force has been around forever. The last time they brought it back, it was Cyclops having a bunch of X-Men hitmen running around, doing the purifiers and whatnot, a bunch of people who would ruin. And Cyclops was like, maybe we should have a bunch of killers around. We're done with this. And like, the Order's like, yeah, sure, no more. Guess this guy's X-Force is back. Woo! And instead of going with your original team, he kept Archangel around because Archangel's a murderer. What else is he gonna do? He brought in Psylocke because she has no problem killing. For some reason, Deadpool, because if you want a stealth action team, bring Deadpool. He's super stealthy, he will not blow this thing up. It's surprising he hadn't yet. And then they just pulled an obscure card and brought Photomax in. It was a really cool character brought in via
Grant Morrison's run.
Grant Morrison's run. It was like early 2000s to like 2003.
I also
Yeah, and But on the Morrison, fantastic. Like, two other guys tried it, and it was just real bad. And now, so you have the French guy who's not really a mutant. He's actually a living sentinel.
And he's also not French.
Oh, he's fake French. It's, yeah, he's a living sentinel made from the Weapon X program. Which is a tie thing we'll get into some other time.
I also want to add, it's really awesome that in terms of common sense, if you're trying to keep aggression away from Angel, so he doesn't turn to Archangel, you should totally equip him on a team that just goes around killing other people.
And again, so it's been what, this issue, what, 19 drops in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I believe so.
So it's about 19 issues long. Actually, I believe you can download the first 4 for like $2 pop online. The trades are available too if you want to go to your Barnes & Noble or your comic shop, pick it up. It's really good. It's actually, again, like Ray said, there's sort of the realness goes. Like, it's, yeah, it sounds cool. X-Men murdering, but the first, I don't want to spoil the first hit. The first arc.
The first arc, I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm just going to say what it's about. The first arc actually deals with the next incarnation of what Apocalypse is. And essentially, they keep it under wraps, of course, this whole team from Cyclops, because Cyclops at one point said, no more X-Force. And Wolverine and Angel like, sure, no more X-Force. Turn and walk around the corner, we're reinstating X-Force. But Angel gets some intel that there's a new Apocalypse, and essentially the first set of issues is to take out Apocalypse.
The twist is Apocalypse is a 10-year-old boy. So now the moral question is, can the X-Men kill a 10-year-old kid knowing he's going to grow up to be the next Apocalypse? And things go, especially things go bad in that arc, and they manage, and then it sets off the entire series from there.
Yeah.
I can't recommend, it's probably the best book Marvel's putting out these days, outside of Daredevil, which... again, so moving on off the X-Men for the time being, Spider-Man. So a few years back, they decided Spider-Man needed to be single again. So Satan had a magical divorce, and I wouldn't call it. That was a really dumb idea. It's a really weak story. It says a lot of things about comic writers. You have to divorce every major character. But
and make a deal with the devil.
yeah, do it. Like you could, it was just,
Even New Mutants had to make a deal with the devil. I found that hilarious.
but I feel like, it's like the worst way to bring up marriage in comics. And on the other hand, though, Spider-Man's been really good for the last like two and a half years. They took some really odd creative risks. Got a bunch of artists, from overseas who don't draw traditional, Ghibli square, draw V-neck style. And visually, it's one of the best books now. And they finally got one writer and a bunch of artists now. And they just did a thing called Spider Island. The whole premise is, what if everyone woke up in Manhattan with Spider-Man's powers? And the twist is, it's all the power and none of the responsibility. How do people react and whatnot? It's 8 issues of the Avengers dealing with, an army of Spider-Man, just being crazy and whatnot. And also, like, certain people, you also realize not every hero has powers. So, like, guys like Hawkeye suddenly are now shooting by this Harry Sat the Punisher, who's now, cleaning side of villains and whatnot. It's a lot of cool stuff.
It also brought back a series that I used to like, and characters that don't get a lot of attention. Well, lately they've been in a lot of appearances. Does anyone care about Cloak and Dagger at all? Yeah,
Kind
of course, as usual, the only one. Does anyone know, like, the powers of Cloak and Dagger, or, like, their background or anything like that? Is anyone planning on reading these 3 issues of Spider Island?
I've read them.
You've read them?
Right. Okay, Spider Island's a lot worth time. And then the cool time, there was a, what was it? Shang-Chi and the 8 Deadly Fists of Kung Fu, which is basically like a really crazy, like 70s action flick. Set drop during a Spider-Man infested New York City, which it's insane. The way it plays out, it ends up with, again, crazy martial artist, how do you fight an army of Spider-Man? Oh, he grows 8 arms and fights them.